What's up, everybody? It's yours truly, Mr. Lang, Mr. Colt, Mr. Devin.
Hey.
Hey. Colt didn't even say hi.
I said hi.
Oh. So we're back at this house. Client called because we left spotting and streaking and all sorts of stuff. And it can be scary for a guy starting off who just does his first house wash and he sees this stuff and he's like, oh no, what have I done? I'm going to replace all their vinyl, blah, blah, blah. I want to show you what this looks like and how we're going to attack it and fix it and what caused this.
I was thinking those lines might be from the leaders.
Yeah, so this just shows we just got to be rinsing better. Especially like a colored home, sometimes it shows more imperfections.
Yeah,
so we just got to rain on it after we do a house wash, like you were doing over there. Because these are just straight up like bleeder streaks. So, yeah, just keep that in mind, boys. When you're doing a colored home, you know, some homes are just show more imperfections than others. We haven't had an issue all year, I don't think. Maybe one little one with a couple spottings, but this one was bad. This is our worst, and we're fixing it, but never be afraid to rinse an extra runaround. I always call it the rain on. Make sure you rain on it when you're done. So unfortunately, that's probably the only spot I can show you because I got here afterwards and they started before me, but it was like that all over, especially the back, especially like here. It was very bunch of spots. Didn't look good, looked kind of scary, and I'll show you the reason, show you what caused that. So they had washed the whole house and then we came back and did the concrete. This is the pool video I showed you. So they pre-treated it, but they hadn't thoroughly rinsed everything around it, you know. And that's the thing, when they pre-treated, they're focusing on keeping the grass wet, maybe the wood. They're not even thinking about the house and stuff over here. So even this heater had some spotting. It's all wet now, and because we cleaned it. Like I said, they got here before me, before I had a chance to videotape. But they've already done this whole backside. But yeah, when you're spraying, you know, the soft wash chem, that overspray can carry very easily. So anyway, we had that strong chem overspray all over the house that was clean, and it caused some white chalky, just didn't look good. Let's see, this is kind of drying. It looks like it'll be all right, but all right, let me get to the point. I'll show you how to fix this. It's very important to grab yourself some Red Raider from Southside Equipment. Russ Johnson sells it, or whoever. If you know, just call up there. You'll get one of a couple people. Russ is on Facebook, though, I know that much. But Red Raider is a very, very nice chem to have. It's a mild degreaser, and it helps anytime you have spotting or something weird come up after a house wash. And it's just a nice thing to throw into your house wash mix, period. So we got us a little 5-gallon bucket, one of these multi-angle brushes. The brush is cool because, hold on one second, our pole broke off in here, but it can screw in straight ahead or at an angle. And the angle, you wouldn't think it, but it really helps because you can focus on each piece of vinyl and force that brush right under the lip. You know, especially like down low, but you just basically stand it in front of the vinyl and you brush it piece by piece all the way up, and then scoot over and go. You just want to make sure you're covering everything. You know, you don't want to miss anything because it'll dry uneven if you brush it uneven. Our mix, you basically kind of just throw something together. We started with we're filling the bucket up about 4 gallons and throwing 8 ounces of Red Raider in there, and it just seemed a little weak, so we went stronger. How much more did we throw in there?
I think you threw 4 ounces in the half gallon that we had, or the half bucket that we had.
Okay, so yeah, he threw another 4 ounces of Red Raider.
I threw 8.
Oh, he threw another 8 ounces in, and we only had a half a bucket left, so it's pretty strong now, but it's not a problem. It's like doesn't really matter, you know. Like if you go strong with the Red Raider, it's not like there's not any real danger to it, especially him standing here keeping everything wet. There's not a chance of anything drying. So that's it. This is a very common method to removing oxidation. This side was actually oxidized. This is the south side, and anything. So this was the south side of the house, but that's the problem. It was oxidized, so there were spots that dried a little funny, but the house looked perfectly fine, but there was a little bit of chalkiness potentially. Oh, this is great right here. See how far back he's standing? He's literally raining on the house. He's letting that water literally rain, and yeah, it takes a little longer, but we're delicately rinsing it off, trying not to disturb anything, and it's just way better. We're not going to have bleeders, we're not going to disturb any more oxidation, and it's just, let's see. He's really just letting it rain down on there. So, good. That's a good way to rinse. You just got to make sure you get up in the where the eave and the vinyl meets. But yeah, that's like what I mean by that imitating rain when you rinse. So obviously you wouldn't rinse the whole house like that with a house wash, but it's very good to go through after the house wash and hit the whole house just like this real quick with a mist rain, because that'll clean up any dirty water that bled out from the weep holes on the vinyl from standing too close and getting water behind that vinyl. So I got distracted, but what I was saying is this is exactly how you would clean a typical house with oxidation. You'd start with a Red Raider mix and brush it evenly, and that's how I would do it. I've heard of guys such as Rob Anderson where they actually like downstream or apply a weak mix of gutter grenade and literally apply it, let it dwell and rinse it. You're really playing with fire in my opinion at that point. It's a little sketchy of a method, but if you know what you're doing, it could be very effective and quick. See some of the, it's hard to tell because it's wet. It could just be wet rings, but it's chalky. It's just a chalky look to it. So we gotta brush that off, that bad paint. Yeah, if you're doing oxidation removal, this is what you do. Oh, what I was saying is, that's why it's really important to just make sure the house looks perfect before you leave. Just rinse everything off before you leave one more time. It doesn't hurt, because once they notice something wrong, like the backside had all those issues, they go around the entire house with a magnifying glass and check everything out. So even something that's really not a big deal, or it's just a little hiccup, they notice it, and now we're out here fixing every little imperfection and blemish. So we have to make this thing perfect. So just keep that in mind. Just don't cut corners. Make sure your house wash looks perfect before you take off, and you'll do just fine. Yours truly, Mr. Lang and the Wally's crew, shining off. We're on a major heat index right now. It's supposed to be 100 degrees by noon today, so we got here at like 7:45 a.m. Well, they did. I got here at like 8 or 8:15. We're doing good. Nice even stroking from edge to edge. It's scary looking stuff if you don't know how to fix it, you know. You get that call, you're like, oh no, I've ruined their paint, I've ruined their siding, I have to repaint the whole house. No, you just gotta get you some Red Raider and brush it all off, unfortunately. Hey, it's a lot better than really spend a little more time brushing this part, because of the you can really see some spotting. Give it at least 2 or 3 passes instead of just the 2. There you go. You start running dry on Chem, just go ahead and dip it. Because what we're going to do is take off. We're going to rinse this off and take off, go do that other job, and I'll stay in touch with him, and he'll let me know if it dries okay, or if there's still spots, he might come back. We'll just stay in touch with him and see how it turns out. So, oh, and this is the fence we cleaned. Nice and dry now, in case anyone was wondering. Turned out really well. It's a little furry, but people don't care about that. Looks way better than what it was. Gotta love when you meet the guys at the shop and you bring them payroll and have a good little chat, and then something in the corner catches your eye after they leave. Yeah, I guess we're just gonna pretend this didn't even happen. Let's just not even mention this one. Just forget about it. There's just a tote. It's nothing. Fire.